You're listening to the Audiobook Chamber, where timeless ideas meet modern reflection and where true wealth begins in the mind. Today, we journey into The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham, the foundational text that redefined what it means to invest wisely. Warren Buffett once called it, by far the best book on investing ever written. But its wisdom reaches far beyond the stock market. This isn't just a guide to finance. It's a philosophy of clarity, patience, and rational living in a world ruled by noise. Each chapter explores how emotion shapes value, how discipline outperforms brilliance, and how intelligence is measured not by reaction, but reflection. Let's begin our exploration, not of money alone, but of mindset. Because in Graham's world, wealth begins not with what you own, but with how you think. We live in an age where motion is mistaken for progress and excitement for intelligence. But Benjamin Graham draws a timeless line, one that separates wisdom from recklessness. Investing, he says, is built on careful analysis, a margin of safety, and the expectation of reasonable return. Speculation, on the other hand, thrives on emotion, prediction, and the illusion of control. Today's markets, filled with meme stocks, crypto hype, and the constant noise of hot tips, blur this line more than ever. Yet the intelligent investor knows, true wealth grows in silence, not in frenzy. The goal isn't to outguess the market, but to outlast it. When you stop chasing quick wins and start protecting against lasting loss, you graduate from speculation to mastery. Because real investing isn't about predicting tomorrow, it's about being prepared for it. Benjamin Graham introduces us to a timeless metaphor, Mr. Market. He's not your enemy, but a wildly emotional business partner. One day, he's euphoric and offers to buy your shares at absurdly high prices. The next, he's despondent and desperate to sell at any cost. The intelligent investor doesn't dance to his tune. You don't follow his moods, you observe them. When he's greedy, you stay calm. When he's fearful, you stay rational. In today's world, Mr. Market lives in our pockets, flashing stock prices, crypto charts, and headlines every second. His voice is louder than ever, but his wisdom hasn't changed. Your job isn't to predict his next move. It's to remain unmoved. In stillness, you see opportunities others miss. In discipline, you find your greatest profit. Because the real battle of investing isn't against the market, it's against your own impulses. Benjamin Graham's most timeless principle is also his simplest. Always insist on a margin of safety. It's the quiet line between prudence and peril, a reminder that no forecast, however confident, is ever certain. A margin of safety means buying well below intrinsic value, saving more than you spend, and designing your life and investments with room for error. It's not about pessimism. It's about respect for reality. Even the most brilliant analysis can be wrong. Even the strongest conviction can meet an unexpected storm. In a world obsessed with maximizing gains, Graham teaches the opposite. First, protect what you have. The intelligent investor doesn't seek to be right every time. He seeks to stay standing when others fall. Because true wealth is never about perfect timing or flawless foresight. It's built through resilience, by leaving space for the unknown and strength in reserve for when the tides inevitably turn. Graham divides the intelligent investor into two archetypes, the defensive and the enterprising. Each path leads to success, if you walk it with self-awareness. The defensive investor values simplicity, consistency, and peace of mind. They prefer diversified index funds, automatic contributions, and patience over prediction. Their strength lies in discipline, not excitement. The enterprising investor, on the other hand, seeks opportunity through effort, studying businesses, analyzing balance sheets, and finding value where others overlook it. It's a path of curiosity, persistence, and constant learning. The danger lies in confusion. Many believe they're enterprising when they're simply chasing thrills. True intelligence begins with honesty. knowing which path suits your temperament, not your ego. Because in investing, self-knowledge is strategy. The wisest choice is not the most ambitious. It's the one you can sustain through every season of the market. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get. It's one of Graham's simplest lessons, and one of the hardest to live by. The market constantly blurs the line between the two. Prices rise and fall with emotion, but value moves slowly, grounded in fundamentals like earnings, durability, and trust. The intelligent investor learns to look beyond the noise, to measure worth not by excitement, but by substance. This idea extends far beyond finance. In careers, relationships, even habits, we often chase what looks appealing instead of what endures. Price attracts attention. Value rewards patience. To invest intelligently is to see clearly, to resist the crowd and ask, what am I really getting for what I'm giving? When you learn to separate price from value, you stop reacting and start discerning. You stop chasing momentum and start building meaning. And that shift, from surface to substance, changes not just your portfolio, but your entire philosophy of life. Markets don't move on numbers, they move on nerves. Behind every surge and crash lies the same force, human emotion. Fear, greed, pride, and panic, the ancient instincts that shape modern markets. Benjamin Graham warned that the investor's greatest enemy is not the crowd, nor the crash, it's himself. The data may be objective, but our reactions rarely are. We buy from excitement, we sell from fear, and we rationalize both as strategy. Modern behavioral science proves Graham right. We are predictably irrational. The intelligent investor doesn't deny this truth, he studies it. He learns to pause before reacting, to separate impulse from intention. When others panic, he breathes. When others chase, he reflects. His calm becomes his advantage. His patience, his profit. In mastering emotion, he masters time. And time, more than timing, is the real secret of wealth. Inflation is a quiet thief. It makes numbers rise while value erodes. What looks like progress can, in truth, be loss disguised as growth. Benjamin Graham saw this long before it became headline news. When prices soar, comfort turns deceptive. The illusion of wealth replaces real purchasing power. But inflation isn't only financial, it's psychological. We inflate our lifestyles, our expectations, even our sense of success. We chase more possessions, more recognition, more noise, until contentment becomes scarcity. The intelligent investor learns to see through this fog. He doesn't measure wealth by the size of his portfolio, but by the strength of his foundation. He values stability over spectacle, sufficiency over excess. True growth is not about how much expands, but how much endures. Because lasting wealth, like lasting wisdom, compounds quietly, protected from the illusion of more. Every portfolio tells a story, not just of money, but of mindset. Stocks represent potential, growth, ambition, and belief in the future. Bonds offer peace, steadiness, protection, and the quiet comfort of predictability. Benjamin Graham taught that the balance between the two is not dictated by age or formulas, but by temperament. The defensive investor values sleep over excitement. The enterprising one endures volatility for greater reward. Neither is right or wrong, only honest or diluted. The danger lies not in risk itself, but in misunderstanding your capacity for it. Diversification, Graham reminds us, is not about owning everything. It's about surviving anything. In turbulent markets and uncertain times, balance becomes strength. The intelligent investor doesn't seek the perfect mix. He seeks harmony. When your portfolio reflects who you truly are, your strategy becomes sustainable and your wealth enduring. Markets rise, fall, and rise again. Yet human nature moves in the same familiar cycles of fear and greed. Benjamin Graham's greatest lesson is that intelligence alone is not enough. What separates the wise from the weary is discipline, the quiet strength to stay the course when the noise grows loud. Discipline is not about prediction, it's about preparation. It's not timing the market, but trusting your method. The intelligent investor resists the temptation of headlines and hype. He knows that emotion, not economics, destroys wealth fastest. When others chase the next surge, he pauses. When others surrender to despair, he stays steady. His patience is not weakness. It's the highest form of conviction. Over years, this calm compounds. Gains follow those who can wait without wavering. Because in both markets and life, discipline outlasts drama, and time rewards those who remain anchored while the world trembles. At its heart, the intelligent investor is not a manual for getting rich. It's a philosophy for living wisely. Benjamin Graham's lessons stretch far beyond markets and money. They reach into how we think, act, and sustain peace in a restless world. True intelligence, Graham reminds us, lies in restraint, the courage to wait when others rush, to reflect when others react. Patience, discipline, and self-awareness are not financial tools. They are life tools. They form the quiet architecture of stability in an age of constant motion. The intelligent investor doesn't chase wealth. He cultivates wisdom. He measures success not by returns, but by alignment. When his actions serve his values, and his choices reflect clarity rather than impulse. Because in the end, the greatest portfolio is not built on assets, but on awareness. Profit fades. Trends shift. But character and calm conviction compound for a lifetime. At its core, The Intelligent Investor is not a book about money. It's a lesson in maturity. It teaches us to think with clarity, to wait with patience, and to act only when conviction outweighs impulse. Markets will rise and fall, headlines will shout and fade, but character endures through every cycle. To be intelligent is not to predict the next turn of the market, but to prepare for uncertainty with calm understanding. True wealth isn't measured in numbers, but in discipline, the quiet confidence to stay steady when others waver. Because in the end, every investment is a reflection of the investor. The market tests not our intellect, but our temperament. And the wisest investors learn that before mastering stocks, one must first master the self, for the truest market, always, is within. You've been listening to The Intelligent Investor, brought to life by the Audiobook Chamber. If this journey reshaped how you see money, risk, or reason, continue exploring our curated playlists, from mindset to wealth to entrepreneurship and beyond. Thought balloon what resonated most with you from Graham's timeless philosophy. Share your reflection in the comments below. Your insight may spark someone else's clarity. Headphone True wealth begins in the mind.